The 2015 Progress Seminar invited people of San Mateo County from local business, government, and community leaders to take a weekend retreat for networking, brainstorming, and meeting on community issues. In between the two keynote seminars and various breakout sessions, Peninsula TV's Mark Simon got a chance to get the inside scoop with the Progress Seminar attendees. And now conversations with Mark Simon at the 2015 Progress Seminar.
Dan Child, General Manager, Silicon Valley Clean Water. One of the sessions here is about water. It's on everybody's mind now. What kind of conversations are you hearing? What are you taking away from this?
Oh, there's a lot of conversation about the need to conserve water, obviously, with the drought. But what we're really looking at is the potential for water reuse and being able to make more use of the water that we have, because it is in such a limited quantity anywhere you go. Even in wet years, the state of California doesn't have enough water. So it's not just a drought issue. It is an ongoing issue that we'll have for years to come.
Yeah, I just saw a really great column by George Skelton in the Los Angeles Times about how the water rights far exceed and have for generations the amount of water that's actually available. So I guess we have to rethink how we think about water in an entirely new way.
I think you're 100% right. I did not see that article, so I can't really comment it, but the fact is there's only so much water in the world. We don't make new water. We have to use what we have to the best possible advantage, and reusing the water we have within our systems just makes a lot of sense.
If you could say one thing to sort of the average viewer of our station, one thing they could do to help work on the water problem, what would it be?
Well, obviously the first thing is conservation. So do what you can to conserve water, but also you're going to be hearing more and more about water reuse and the opportunities we have to do that. Get on board and support it. The local politicians are looking for that support, looking for the ability to move forward with these projects and make water something that we do not have to worry about so much in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John Sabert, Broward City Council, welcome. What session have you been in so far, and what is your main takeaway from it?
Oh, the first session I went to was the retail one, the what's working and why, and it was great. It's good to be reassured in Redwood City that what we're doing are the right things to bring in the kind of retail that people want, both people that live there and work there, and exciting to see what's going on in other cities, and that we're all really talking about how to make our cities unique and vibrant in their own way. So it's an exciting future that the peninsula has in that area.
Is it difficult to maintain? There's a historic number of retail that tended to be owner-occupied, small little, not mom and pop so much, but the guy behind the counter was often the guy who owned it, versus large chains that are very successful, that often are also very popular. How do you strike that balance?
It's difficult. I think the city's role, as it always is to set the table, to make our downtown and our other parts of our city available to both. And give them the tools necessary, whether that's signage, reduced fees, opportunities for the right kind of parking, and exposure to other people in the city, both people living there, bringing in residents and housing, but also businesses and office space so that those people can be there during the day. And it's doing all those things that set the table for both to thrive. I think one of the things that we heard over and over, and I think there's some great examples of mom and pop retail doing this, is the mom and pop retail that are learning the new ways to attract, retain customers, especially to providing unique services. They'll always survive so long as they continue to look forward at kind of what the next technology is and what the next opportunities are.
Thank you. Beverly Miller from the San Mateo County Events Center. What session have you been in, and what was your major takeaway from it?
Bridging the gap, and then the one on the nonprofit housing, or the need for lower income housing. And I think all of them have been tremendous. Great input from a lot of people, very educational. And the nonprofit was really great, bridging the gap, getting partnerships with businesses, nonprofits, and that was really interesting.
So many of these problems seem so large and so complex. Do you come away feeling there are solutions to be had?
Partnerships, getting people to talk and come together. Yeah, very much so. Very encouraged.
Chip Huggins, CEO of Kaminar, which is a mental health and services nonprofit. What sessions have you been to so far, and what are your main takeaways?
So Bridging the Gap was led by Carl Gardino. It was a great experience seeing the collaborative efforts there of all the different sectors working together. And then the water usage was my next group. It was very, very engaging.
These are complex problems. You see any solutions? You hear anything that makes you think, oh, okay, this is a path we can take?
I think it's all about collaboration within the community. That's going to solve our issues.
It means we have to work together, right?
I think so.
That only works for me if they're doing what I tell them to do.
Well, you know, if it's right, then it works.
Barbara Pierce, Redwood City Council, what sessions have you been in so far? And give me a couple of takeaways you've got from those.
Okay. I was fortunate to go hear the transportation section and then about closing the gap in terms of inequality. Fabulous sessions, both of them. The takeaway from transportation is that there's a really great opportunity for the business community to really partner with local jurisdictions to work with their communities to understand why this incredible boom can be beneficial for all of us. And that will take engaging and messaging and really looking for the areas that need solving in our communities. That was great to hear.
It's really about recognizing what patterns there are and then changing those patterns.
Right, and there are tremendous infrastructure costs that need to be met in all of our jurisdictions, whether it's for the trains, for the roads, or for the ferries. And companies can help us do that, which will benefit our residents as well.
Maria Diaz-Slocum, Redwood City School Board member, trustee, I think is the exact. So what sessions have you been at and what have you heard that really intrigued you?
Well, I was at the last one about water conservation, and I saw a wonderful game that's a really good way to engage the community, especially around the budget sessions that they've done in San Jose. So I'm looking forward to finding out more about that.
Tell us a little bit more about the game. Does it teach you to understand how limited the resources and how many demands there are on it?
In a way, but it starts off, it's more of an icebreaker, so you get to know the people around your table and ask them questions, so then you start to connect and trying to figure out how they would think about things. So by the time, I guess there's a second part to it, and we didn't get to that, but we were all having fun and engaged.
Talking to Ruben Holivar from the Millbrae City Council. This is not your first progress seminar, is it, or is it?
Second time.
Second time. So you're still a relative newcomer. What did you think of the whole process and the whole experience?
It's a great experience. You have an opportunity to learn about several of the issues that are affecting the community, the county as a whole, and the region, with many of the experts and the other policymakers in the room. I think it's beneficial for everyone here. It's also an excellent networking opportunity for everyone involved in local government and local affairs in San Mateo County.
Well, what sessions have you been in so far, and is there something that really struck caught your attention in terms of something somebody said?
Well, I was in the housing seminar, the housing workshop at the first, and it was just very interesting how, you hear about it all the time that housing prices, housing rates are going up and up and up. It's becoming more and more difficult to live here in the community, but just hearing about some of these stories, the ways that different groups were able to work together to help address that crisis, it's a very positive feeling after hearing all that, and makes me hopeful for addressing that issue more in the future.
With Shelley Mazer, trustee of the Redwood City School District. So what sessions have you been to so far, and is there something you've come away with and thought,
Yeah, actually I started off in transportation, which was really interesting. Heard a lot about the electrification of Caltrain, the 101 corridor. And actually the thing I thought was most interesting about Caltrain is sort of the relatively small changes that need to be made in order to really significantly increase ridership. Not small in terms of dollars, but things that you don't think about every day. For example, raising the platform height and just adding one extra car to each train so that you can get more people on, or equalizing the number of bike cars so that people know and can expect to put their bikes on if they need to. So that was very, it was a good way for me to learn a little bit more about the issues facing Caltrain.
With Helen Fifer from the Colma City Council?
Hi.
Town Council.
Yes, you can be either.
Yeah. So what have you seen? What sessions have you been to? And is there something you've heard that makes you think, oh gosh, I'm glad I heard that?
Well, what's been interesting is the housing panel and listening to the 4 different points of view, and also hearing Carol Groom this morning talk about the initiative that's going to be formed in San Mateo County. I think we're going in the right direction to get a lot of partners to get some solutions for the housing issue.
it's a complex problem. I guess it takes complex solutions.
It does. It's going to take a lot of partners. And I believe Kate Comfort Carr from HIP Housing mentioned, it's the public entity, the private entity, and the nonprofits that got to work together to find the solution.
Ray Muller, Menlo Park City Council, this is only your second progress seminar. Tell me why you came and what it means to be at something like this.
The Progress Seminar is great because you have the opportunity to get to know others who are in public service. And often, it's been my experience when you're trying to overcome issues in your city, when you're trying to help the public, it's a team effort. You can't do it by yourself, and you can't do it alone in your city. You often have to reach out into other jurisdictions or reach out to corporate sponsors to find public-private partnerships, and all that's based on relationships. And that's what's great about the Progress Seminars. You come here, you get to know people, you get to know them personally, and you figure out who you can reach out to when you need help. And it's something that's just irreplaceable in terms of helping the public.
We have all these jurisdictions, but the problems really don't observe jurisdictional lines, do they?
Absolutely not. No, there are no jurisdictional lines for problems. And frankly, to try to just fix it in your city alone oftentimes is just putting a Band-Aid on the underlying problem. It's better to get everyone involved and figure out how to solve it at its root source.
For more video on the 2015 Progress Seminar, go to www.penntv.tv/videos/specials/Progress Seminar.